Hello, today I'm going to introduce you to Perusall. It's a tool that's integrated with Canvas. It's an annotation tool where students can close read texts, use annotations to have conversations with each other. It's a tool that can be a little bit tricky to get started with. So today I just have this really informal tutorial for you to show you how you can get started. I want to start by taking you right into Perusall. I just want to show you how this works so you can decide if this is a tool that you really want to use. So we're inside the interface here, and on the left, this is where I have my assignments. I'm going to go ahead and click on What to the Slave is the 4th of July, and you'll see this view box comes up. Here's the text, the PDF that I uploaded, and then there's a space here where I can provide instructions to students or any context that I want. And to open it, I'm going to just go ahead and click Open. So you'll see that the text pulls up in this viewer, and it's really easy for students to use. If students want to annotate, all they need to do is highlight the text that they want to annotate, and it brings up this rich text editor where they've got some formatting tools. They also can include links to videos, they can include images. So this is where the conversation happens. This is where students will talk to each other. I'm going to go ahead and minimize that. And I'll click on a spot that has a highlighted area. That means that students have been having a conversation here. When I pull this up, you can see the comments that are going back and forth between students. This is where you can add comments yourself too. Now, the advantage of Perusall over a Google document is that these comments can be hidden, so you don't see them. They're not stacked on top of each other as they would be with a Word document. When you want to view a particular area or you want to comment, you just highlight or click on the highlighted area, and then you'll see everyone's comments. So if you think that this tool might be a great asset to your teaching, let me show you how to get started with it. The first thing you'll want to do is enable Perusall in your Canvas course. So go to the course that you'd like to use, go to Settings and Navigation, and then next to Perusall, just make sure that you've enabled it. Scroll down to the bottom to save, and then you'll see Perusall up on the left navigation. Next, what you want to do is you just want to click on Perusall to go into Perusall. Now you'll see that you've automatically created a Perusall course that is connected to your Canvas course. You're going to come to the Get Starting landing page. So this has step-by-step instructions for you that you can follow. You may find this really helpful. But what we want to do first is I recommend that you start in Perusall before you do anything in Canvas. And we can go ahead and go to the settings and take a look at the setting options you have. You have a lot of options in Perusall, so I just want to highlight the basic ones. This top general tab will come pre-populated with a lot of areas. The one thing I want to suggest to you though is that you have scores released manually to the gradebook. Otherwise, Perusall will score and show the students the scores automatically. And you might want some more time. You might want them to see their grades in Canvas at the same time. So I always select that one. And then you'll see there's this little welcome message to students that gives them information. If you like that, you can keep it. If you don't, you just simply delete it. Next, the Access tab is the place where you'll add instructors to the Perusall site. Very simple. The Grouping tab is where you can assign groups. So you can have Perusall create groups for you, or you can manually create groups. And what that means is that students will only be able to see the annotations of students who are in their group. So this can be very useful if you have a large class or very large text. The scoring looks very complex. The default that they recommend is a holistic approach, and basically that grades on 6 different components: annotation, opening the assignment, the reading, active reading, getting responses, and upvoting. So if you don't like that, you can also select the annotation of content only. And I would leave the defaults here. You can play with them, but it does get a little confusing. What I would recommend is that you think about how many annotations you would like Perusall to grade. Perusall grades on an algorithm that really assesses students based on the type of grade they would typically get from an instructor. So I have 5 annotations. This will be the default for all of your assignments when you go in to create them. So just think about that. How many annotations would be typical that you would like to grade? You'll also have a lot of options under the advanced option. But one thing that I do recommend is that you manually sync grades back to the LMS. What that means is that students will get their score in Perusall at the same time they get them in Canvas. And so I think that can be really helpful. So I do recommend that. Otherwise, walk through the settings and you'll just have to think about what you want to select there. All right, so once you have your settings, you're ready to create your first assignment. So go to Course Home. And the first thing you want to do is go to the library. And this is where you're going to add the content that you want. So your PDF that you want them to annotate, a Word doc, you're going to add it right here. Once you've done that, you're ready to create an assignment. So select Assignments. And you're going to add assignment, the green button over here. Now you'll see that there's a drop down and you can select from anything that you've uploaded into your library. You also can select a page range, so that can be helpful if you have a really lengthy assignment for students. Submission deadline, you can put the date in here when you want submissions posted by. Assignment name, you want to give the assignment the same name that you're going to give it in Canvas. So this part you really want to pay attention to. And then any instructions that you have for students. You can also put instructions in the Canvas assignment, but this is a good place for instructions too, or any content that you want them to have ahead of time. And then this is where you determine how many annotations to grade. You can see that the default for this course was 5. You can change that if you want. Assignment visible to students. When do you want them to first see the assignment? You can put a date in there. And you can assign to specific students if you wanted to. And once you're done with that, you can save the changes. So now we see the assignment. What I recommend is when you have the assignment in the viewer here, you copy the full title for the LMS. That's going to be really important because if there's any typo or spacing error that's different between Perusall and Canvas, the grades won't connect to the gradebook. So that's why it's always good practice to copy the title and that you start in Perusall. So let's go to Canvas. You'll go to Canvas Assignments and you're going to add an assignment. Now, under assignment name, I'm just going to paste. That way I know it's titled exactly as it is in Perusall. Again, here's the space. If you'd like to add instructions or any context here, you can do that. Points, I recommend that you give the number of points equal the number of annotations. It just helps the math make sense. And then that you put this in an assignment group. So if I had 5 annotations, I'm going to make this worth 5 points. It is in the Perusall assignment group. Now, under submission type, what you want to select here is external tool. And then you're going to search for Perusall under external tools. You just scroll down and here it is. I click on Perusall, I select, and then you always want to load this in a new tab, or sometimes it just won't load. So load in a new tab, and the rest of the information, you're familiar with that. So we go ahead and save and publish. Now, I want to go into Student View. Here's my assignment in Student View. So when I scroll down, I can see that they want to load this assignment in Perusall in a new window. It's really important that students go through this assignment link to get to Perusall because this is what connects the gradebook. If they don't do this, their grade won't be transferred over to Canvas. So one of the things that I recommend, I'm going to get out of Student View here for a minute. I recommend that you remove Perusall from the side nav once you're set up, because if a student clicks on Perusall here on the side nav, they can go into Perusall, they can do the assignment, but they haven't clicked on the assignment link in Canvas, and as I said, that's what connects the grades. So this would mean that their grade wouldn't be transferred over. If that happens, just have them go through and do it again, go through the assignment link one time, and Perusall updates frequently. So the grade will eventually be updated, and you certainly can enter it manually, but it just avoids emails from frantic students if they didn't get their grades. Now we're back in Perusall because I want to show you how to manually sync the grades if you selected that option in settings. So I'm going to go to Gradebook, and you'll see this button here, Release to Students. So what that means is you're going to release it in Perusall. They'll see their grade in Perusall. They'll also see their grade in Canvas. And I also want to point out, you'll see these little red circles with the exclamation mark. This is a student who didn't click on the assignment in Canvas. So they'll have a grade in Perusall, but not in Canvas until they go through that assignment link again. And once they do that, as I said, update frequently, and they'll see their grade pop up eventually in Canvas. So that's a very basic introduction to Perusall, but I think it's enough to get you started with the tool. If you have questions, you can contact Perusall support that you'll see here on the screen, and you can also reach out to LSA Learning and Teaching Support at lsatechnologyservices@umich.edu. Thank you for watching.